Good morning. Good morning, Jen. Good morning. I'm going to wait a little bit and let some people load. But I'm going to do a energy surf report. Surfing the energy is what I call it. Where I take astrology, numerology, and tarot, and I kind of put them together. And it kind of tells a really interesting story. So I'm going to read from a friend's newsletter. If you want to look it up online, it's Soul Solutions, Linda Masterson. And it's her March. She put it out on March 24th, her newsletter. But we're going to talk about the alignment of planets. Good morning, Margarita. How are you? Thank you for joining. I'm going to start in a little bit. I'm going to let some people load on because I know there are some people that are going to come on. Good morning, Jen. Hope everybody is well and doing good. I've already pulled 3 cards here. And it tells an interesting story. So that's why I decided to go on. And I thought I need to read this to the collective. Hey, Sally. I'm going to read from Linda Masterson's Soul Solutions, her newsletter. She's an astrologer friend of mine. She's very wise. Her last name is Masterson. That speaks volumes. And she sends out a newsletter that I get every time. I think she does it every new moon. And the stuff she put in this newsletter is pretty interesting. So I want to take that. I want to read a little. I'm not going to read the whole newsletter. If you want to go to it, you can look up Linda Masterson's Soul Solutions. And it's her March 24th. newsletter, and she knows she has it up on her website, and you can check that out. And she does do readings if anybody wants a reading from her. She's pretty amazing. She's given me at least 3 readings. But I want to take what she says with the planet alignments, because it actually, these 3 cards are saying the same exact thing. And then I'm also going to pull on camera from some other decks. This is basically what I do when I don't know what else to do, or I want to see what is the energy, what's going on. Because a lot of times what we're feeling is not really what's happening out in the world or even around us, because what is actually happening around us is pushing up these feelings so we can heal, so we can move past these feelings, so that we can learn to live with no mind, which is what this card is all about here. So if you just signed on, I really haven't started yet, but if you feel like you missed anything I said, you can always go back and watch this again. I'm just kind of talking about what we're doing here today. And what we're doing is we're going to read from Linda's newsletter. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the new moon that we just had. So we had an Aries new moon on March 24th. Okay. This new moon is bringing 20 years of change packed into the next 2. So basically what that says is whatever you kind of went through in the last 20 years, you're going to go through that again, but in 2 years. So it's going to be really fast and really intensive. Okay. And for me, I reinvented myself 20 years ago. Okay. And I feel like that last 20 years has been like my training. And now I'm going to reinvent myself in another way that's going to push me out there, and it's going to put me doing what I'm really supposed to be doing in the world. And yeah, I feel like it's happening really fast. So that statement hit me when she wrote that. The other thing that she says this new moon is bringing out is like a push comes to shove type of energy. Fear must be healed productively, she says. Living with the soul is living beyond fear. And man, are we not seeing that or what? We're seeing that everything can get taken away in a split second. And that fear that comes up from that, we have to do something with that really fast, or you could go downhill really fast, right? So the other thing I like about her newsletter is she always puts key words. And sometimes when you just hear words, it kind of hits, it gives you a message. So the Aries keywords for this new moon is spark plug, initiating, adventurous, initiative, action, energy, leader, assertive, courageous, direct, confident, outspoken, passionate, romantic, self-expressive, daring, dominant, direct, enterprising. I want to stress enterprising because like my business has been shut down pretty much. And so I'm having to rethink this. I'm not going to just sit here and go, okay, I'm just going to wait it out. I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to enterprise. I'm going to do something different. And that's what this new moon is pushing up for all of us. Exploring, urgent. We have this urgent need. It's going to pull up this urgency. Self-reliant. We're having to become more self-reliant. You know, there's not always going to be a way to get to the store, or, you know, the ability to go to the store, and, you know, are we going to start growing our own food and getting our own source of energy and that kind of stuff, right? So those are the positive keywords that she says this new moon is bringing up. And I'm not reading all of them. I'm just skipping over, and I'm skipping through this newsletter. Like I said, if you want to read her newsletter really thoroughly, it's Soul Solutions, and it's Linda Masterson, and I've written it in the post. And I also tagged her on this too. The negative words that she's saying this new moon is bringing up. Hey, you guys who just signed on, if you feel like you missed some stuff, you can always rewatch. I've only been on for like 5 minutes. But right now we're talking about Linda Masterson's newsletter, Soul Solutions, because she's an astrologer that I trust. And we just went over the positive words that this new moon has brought out. And now we're talking about the negative. Hot-headed, selfish, loner, impatient, aggressive, forceful, insensitive, brash, loud, bullying, combative, impulsive, pushy, restlessness. So, I mean, short fuse, fever, rash, hot, short-lived, rough, ragged. So these are, I mean, are we not seeing that? I'm seeing that so much. But those types of negative emotions and words and feelings, those have to come up so we can heal. And that's what the positive words we're talking about. It's all a balance, right? So we just had this new moon. And I'm skipping through the newsletter to this squaring that's happening. And I believe it's happening today. She doesn't say the date, but I thought I read somewhere else that it's happening today. So Pluto, Jupiter, and Mars conjunct in Capricorn, squaring a new planet, Aries. I think I'm saying that right. So this is setting up a test for each one of us. And I feel like that too. And actually the cards that I pulled here kind of say that as well. Venus and Neptune are providing support so that you can have wise and kind choices. A lot of self-care, right, with that. So it's just really interesting how the planets are lining up, because they are actually lining up in the next weeks to bring out a lot of, to drop a lot of illusions, to bring out a lot of, healing and change that really needs to happen. So now I want to go to these cards that I've picked. So this is the Osho Transformation Tarot deck. And I want to show you these cards. So these two cards actually flew out as I was shuffling the deck. And then I put the deck down, face down. And after I read these first two cards, I thought to turn over the deck and see the last card that was on the deck, and that was this card. And they all just go very nicely together. And then I actually pulled the crystals after I pulled the cards. These are all crystals, citrine for healing. These are all highly healing crystals. Most of them have heart shapes in them. But what I noticed is I picked up this black tourmaline and I placed it here. And if you see, there's black tourmaline or obsidian. This might be obsidian in this card, but it's kind of interesting that they kind of look like each other. It's kind of interesting. I like to see synchronicities like that. And I like to really look at the cards and see what they're saying to me first before I read them in the book. So this is remaining centered. And as I said, if you just signed on, these cards flew out, the first two, when I was shuffling. So when I flipped over this card, I was like, yep, remaining centered. That is what is going to get us through, is staying centered. See how everyone else in this card is kind of standing around, not social distancing. They don't really know what to do. And then we have this dancer that's just kind of moving along in the world. I think the dancer is centered. So you can be centered and take action. You can be centered and do movements. You don't have to sit. The gentleman is sitting centered. I think meditation is key during these times, to just actually go sit somewhere and daydream. Daydreaming is a form of meditation, or actually doing a guided meditation, just looking up something online and listening to it, or just kind of just getting lost in staring at a tree or the clouds, really. But I think movement meditations and sitting meditations are key to remaining centered. This is a number 19 card. When you add those together, that becomes the number 10 in numerology. Number 10 is endings and beginnings all happening at once. So this card being the first card, when I asked Spirit to give me a message for a collective of people, for a wide variety of people that really want to have messages come through, this card flew out, and it speaks volumes to me of what really needs to happen right now. So that's what I see in the card. I'm going to read to you from the book because I felt the message in the book was pretty interesting. So this card is actually called The Monk and the Prostitute. Wherever you are, become more centered, become more alert, live more consciously. There is nowhere else to go. Everything has to happen within you, and it's in your hands. You are not a puppet, and your strings are not in anybody else's hands. You are absolutely a free individual. If you decide to remain in illusions, you can remain so for many, many lives. If you decide to get out, a single moment's decision is enough. You can be out of illusions this very moment. So that's what the card says. Hopefully that resonates with somebody. And if this isn't resonating with you, you can just sign off. It's no big deal. The second card that flew out is the No Mind card. And this is a new moon, which is really interesting to me because I just read from you. I just read from Linda's Soul Solutions all about the new moon. So for this card to come out is interesting. It's also a number 1 card, which this card is a 10 in numerology, being endings and beginnings. It's a 1 and a 10. And then we have the 1 card, which is the beginnings, right? So after remaining centered, finding balance, being centered, you can start this new beginning, which is what this card means to me. And I'm going to read from the book. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a call. Okay, so this card, No Mind. The state of no mind is the state of the divine. God is not a thought, but the expression of thoughtlessness. It is not a content in the mind. It is the explosion when the mind is containless. It is not an object that you can see. It is the very capacity to see. It is not the seen, but the seer. It is not the like. It is not the like the clouds that gather in the sky, but the sky when there is no clouds. It is that empty sky. When the consciousness is not going out to any object, when there is nothing to see, nothing to think, just emptiness all around, then one falls upon oneself. There is nowhere to go. One relaxes into one source, and that source is God. So, as I was reading that, I got kind of like a thought that, isn't that what's happening? Kind of everything is being taken away, or we're having that feeling of everything being taken away, right? And so that forces you to have no choice than to go within. And that is what is happening. So then this last card, like I said, was on the bottom of the deck, and I felt like pulling it. And then I pulled the crystal that kind of matches it. It's kind of interesting. And in this card, we have wine, we have food, there's a feast, we have spirits, lots of spirits in the middle, and then crystals. This is the tree, the roots, our foundation. This is our mind. This is the monkey mind. And it's the wishful thinking of the mind, right? It's the consciously we can bring about this new life. Maybe it's a new life of abundance. Maybe it's a new life with spirituality. Oh, this actually is interesting. It looks like a crystal. It's actually a coffin. That's so interesting that when I lay it like this, to me, it was looking like a crystal. And then when I brought it up and really started looking at it, it's a person in a coffin. So it's the death of that ego. Interesting. The cards are a 7 in numerology. You add the 2 numbers together. 7. Let me tell you what 7 means. Really quick. I've got my cheat sheet here. Reflection, assessment, spirituality, order, wisdom, psychic abilities, thoughtfulness, and peace is what 7. So, I mean, all these are resonating with what I'm feeling the energy is around. I don't know. Tell me if you feel like this is hitting home for you. So I'm going to read this wishful thinking card. The thinker is creative with his thoughts And that is for sure. I want to interrupt here because I'm getting a message that we need to be creative now. Our life, our structures are kind of falling away, and we need to think of new creative ways to make money, to have businesses, to live our lives. You know, we're more in seclusion now. How are we going to live a happy life that way? Okay, the thinker is creative with his thoughts. This is one of the most fundamental truths to be understood. All that you can experience is your creation. First you create it, then you experience it, and then you are caught in the experience because you don't know that the source of all exists in you. Isn't that the truth, man? Sometimes don't you think, wow, how did I get caught up in this drama? And then none of us wants to think that we created it. But as a matter of fact, we did create this whole drama that's happening in the world right now. We all created it collectively with our thoughts. So collectively, how are we going to get out of this? By remaining centered, finding that center within ourselves, finding that balance, healing the stuff that's coming up, okay? Having that ending and beginning right now. And then finding that place of emptiness, finding that place of being still, of having that new beginning and being okay with that stillness. And then, you know, learning how to use your thoughts to create what you really want. All right, so that was the Osho Transformation Tarot. I want to pull some cards. I'm going to pull, let's see. Let's pull one card from the Akashic Tarot deck. Usually, I got something in there. Usually, I just let cards fly or come out. The King of Scrolls. So to me, this card is talking about stepping into your masculine, even if you're feminine. We all kind of have to step into that role. Being okay with waiting, having plans, there's plans all around, but there's no action being taken in this card. Seeing the beauty around. I'm sorry if you guys can hear my dog snoring. He's snoring right now. This card has green all around it, which speaks about, being in the heart and the healing. I'm going to look this up in the book. Oh, where's the King of Scrolls? All right, King of Scrolls. As with any of the kings and queens, the King of Scrolls may also be a new love interest for you or for another. And I think that love interest is going to be, finding that love within yourself, right? His wisdom is compelling, and there are likely to be many interesting and lively discussions. This card may also represent you or someone you know who is longing for a deeper understanding and a greater clarity of thought, which is what we're all longing for, a deeper understanding of what's going on, really. So, this is like the perfect card. Now is a great time for you to pursue new interests, perhaps even enroll in some classes or attend a lecture or two. So perfect. Like, this is a time, to create reinvent yourself. Didn't I say that at the beginning of this video? Now it's a great time to pursue new interests, perhaps even enroll in classes and attend a lecture or two. A position in teaching, counseling, advertising, writing, publishing, or the like may be on the agenda now. A treasure trove of discovery is waiting for you, so let your mind and let your life soar. Awesome. That's like the perfect card for what's going on right now. Hey, Linda, you missed a couple cards, so be sure to go back and watch the beginning of this video. So now I'm going to pull from Mystics and Saints and Mystics, because I wanted to see who is kind of around helping us. A lot of times, they say, go to Archangel Michael or Raphael or somebody to, say your prayers and things like that. So I just was curious to see. This card just flew out across the floor. Sorry. Oh my goodness. This card flew across the floor, and it's Saint Valentine Divine Love. How awesome is that? And I mean, it flew across. I wish I had the camera the other way, except for I'm in my PJs. All right, but I'm pretty excited about that. And look at this card. Look at the energy of this card. Just the beautifulness of it. I mean, and that is just, I know, Christina. This is just, I'm just like looking at this card going, this is like, wow. It's I see the number now on the card is an 18, which is a 9, which is all about endings. Like, so every number that I've picked, all the numbers that have been on these cards are all about endings and beginnings, all happening. So focus on divine love. That's what's going to get us through. I mean, I'm getting chills now. If you guys, can you see? Every hair, chills. All right, I'm going to read from this because it's amazing. All right, oracle meaning. Emotionally, Saint Valentine's energy grounds your heart, right? And remember I said this card was green, full of heart chakra. Towards acceptance of others and others beneath their human appearance. Okay, so I want to read that again. Saint Valentine's energy grounds our heart towards acceptance of others and others beneath their human appearance. So what that is saying is if we focus on Saint Valentine and divine love, we are going to see everyone in a soul spiritual way, and we won't see the humanness, right? The humanness is the ego. The humanness is what we don't like in other people. So we need to start going to a place where we can see beneath the human appearance. Okay? He teaches us the power of love in its grandest form, the one that shows its face in response to sacrifice, loss, pain, and even anger. Valentine shows us there are many ways to love and to be loved. And the only rule to follow is the caretaking of one's heart, especially when it concerns another. Wow. Hi, all you guys. If you guys have just logged on, this is pretty amazing reading, and I've already pulled, this is the 5th card, so go back and watch the beginning. All right, spiritually, Saint Valentine governs the root, sacral, and solar plexus chakras. However, his energy can activate all the chakras and increase your ability to vibrate energy at a faster rate to help us love beyond judgment. So focusing on Saint Valentine and focusing on bringing divine love into your heart, that's going to raise your vibration. And that's what I've been talking about with all my videos lately, is how to know that you're raising your vibration. And if you look back on my Facebook, I posted some charts that show you that you can see how high and how low your vibration is by just feeling your emotions. Okay, your emotions are going to tell you where you're at. And then what you want to do is focus on divine love. Focus on Saint Valentine. So, and that's going to help us get beyond this judgment. So the crystals are rose quartz. And his energy can assist in the healing between lovers. It can assist in the healing of yourself. Wow, that was an amazing card to pull. So now I want to pull from the mudras. So mudras are hand gestures in yoga. And when you do these hand gestures, they awaken and they change the energy. And it's just the intention of the movement that creates that in your body. So I thought, I've been pulling from these decks because sometimes, just placing your hands in a certain way, like, when you do the Om, it just brings you to an awareness, right? So let's see. Oops. And a mudra fell out. Everything's flying across the room, you guys. So the mudra that came out is reverence. And I don't know how to say this. Anjala mudra. If anyone knows how to pronounce that, maybe you could post the pronunciation. Purple. Purple is the color of spirituality, consciousness. Then there's white in here as well, because a lot of people say it's white. So it's white and purple. I'm going to flip this over. So this mudra, so holding your hands in prayer, this is basically holding your hands in prayer, which is amazing card to pull right now. So placing that in your heart chakra. This assists in divine union, which again, divine union is this divine love card. Inner silence, spiritual devotion, cultivates inner awareness, reduces stress and blood pressure, assists prayer and devotion. So basically, palm to palm, join the hands together in front of the heart center with all the fingers touching and pointing upward. The focus is I bow with reverence to the divine heart within. So, wow. Pretty amazing because, guys, I have 65 cards, 65 decks of cards all in a shelf unit. So within about 2 minutes, I decided which decks to pull. I pulled 3 cards on camera. I pulled 3 cards off camera. I read to you my astrologer's newsletter. When you take all of those into consideration, all the numerology, I'll read to you what 4. The last card we pulled was a 4 number. So 4 is all about structure, stability, manifestation, foundation, endurance, and hard work. So every number that I pulled was all about beginnings and endings. All the cards that I pulled are all about being in the heart space, holding place, being still, being in present moment, reinventing yourself, which is what I said at the beginning of the stream. I said this whole thing was going to be about reinventing yourself and finding that love within. And that's what the cards are saying. Does anyone have any questions? Got quite a few people watching. What do you guys think? Thank you. I thought it was pretty amazing. I mean, I'm just sitting here going, wow, because I know I know how easily I just picked things and how it all just flew out of my hands as I was shuffling, and yeah, pretty amazing, you guys. So I'm going to do a lot of these. Right now my business is pretty shut down, so I'm going to be relying on doing a lot of online ways to create my business. If you feel like tipping me, my Venmo and my PayPal are right there in the post. Feel free. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm also a yoga teacher and I teach meditation. There's lots of things that I can do online to help people, and I feel like this is my time. This is what I've been training for the last 16 years of my business. So I'm going to start on April 1st, 7:30 in the morning, 7:30 at night, twice a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I'm going to hold online classes in Zoom. I'm going to stream them live on Facebook the first week so you guys can join them and make sure that you like it before you drop in for $5 or pay the monthly $80 fee. Basically what you do is you pay for it and then I send you a link so you can get into the class. But like I said, the first week I will stream them like this on Facebook. So you guys can see what the classes are consist of. But Monday and Wednesday in the morning, we're going to do mat and strap. I like to use the strap to do lots of stretches, and there's lots of stretches on the mat. If you can't get on the floor, you can sit in a chair. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to do ball stretches and foam rolling. And Friday, we're going to do some sun salutations, and I'm going to do the chakra dance with everybody. So every Friday, we'll hopefully start the weekend off with some dance. And then the night classes are going to be more mellow. They're going to be, sleepy time stretches, restorative, and guided meditations to help you. If you are watching the classes live, feel free to send me, hey, my shoulder hurts, can you help me? And I'll include that in the class. Same thing that if you're dropping in and paying the monthly fee and you're joining us on Zoom, you can chat on there as well. We can talk and see each other. So I'm going to start with the self-care stretch. And then I'm going to keep doing these energy reads. I think I'm going to try to do the energy reads every week. And I will read from somebody that I follow. I follow many astrologers, and I'll read from somebody that I follow, and then I'll pull some cards and we'll see how they all correlate. This is how I stop my skeptic mind. I do a lot of research. I look around, I see what's happening in the spiritual world, and then I look at it all and I go, yep, it all correlates. And then it kind of just makes me go, this is our times. This is our times. Our times are about checking in with the energy, checking in with how the planets align, checking in with our emotions and seeing where we're at on the vibrational chart, and then doing a lot of self-care so that we can keep our vibrations high, because high vibration is what is going to get us through right now. All right, you guys, I see Linda on here. Linda Masterson is my astrologer. She is amazing. If anyone wants to have a reading with her, you can contact her through my Facebook page or through her website at Soul Solutions. Thanks, Linda, for the information. We read from your newsletter today a little bit. It was amazing. And if anybody wants to read the whole newsletter, you can go to her website and check it out. And then if you want to do some self-care with me, I will see you April 1st at 7:30 in the morning. And no, it's no joke. We're really going to stretch, okay? And we're going to get through this together, you guys. And yes, if you want a private reading from me, all you have to do is send me a Venmo donation payment or a PayPal donation payment, and I'll contact you. We can go into Zoom and I can be live on chat and we can do a reading. So I'm moving my business to online so I can reach all of you now. I can reach all of you through Self-Care Stretch, my new class, through these surf energy readings or do private readings. I can also do sound healing online. I do Reiki, and I can do guided meditations with people. So if you're having stress through this and you really don't know which way you need to go, I am a resource for you, and I would love to help you. And in turn, that helps me stay in business, and it helps me use my gifts, because this is what I've been waiting for. This is what all of my training has set me up for, is to help people right now, because I'm in a really good place emotionally, mentally, physically, and I'm feeling that bliss. I'm feeling like I'm in that bliss energy body. And when you're in that place, you need to reach out and help others. And that's what I'm trying to do. So if you can help me by sharing something, liking something, commenting on something, or giving me some business, I really, 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 really appreciate it. All right, you guys. Namaste. I hope everybody has a great Monday. And remember, reinvent yourself. Get in your heart. Focus on divine love. And namaste. Have a great day, you guys.